Outside those walls, it's perdition.
Ruthless factions threaten to destroy.
Yar, me hearties, welcome to the home game of the Queen City Corsairs here in Buffalo, New York. You're watching a presentation of the Simulation Football League with the Queen City Corsairs taking on the Carolina Skyhawks here in snowy Buffalo. My name is Eric Vincent alongside Marcus Dunhill, Dan Mitchell on stats tonight. Want to welcome you guys in. Marcus, what do we expect from these guys going forward tonight?
I think you're going to see a good ground game and a good running attack from both teams. They had a little bit of a tough off-season, both teams. It's been a slower start for Carolina. Queen City's gotten off to a fast start. But you want to make sure you get those wins as early as you can and make sure that you make it easy on your team in the second half of the season.
And as everyone can see, we've got snow here in Buffalo tonight. It's going to make for a very interesting game. Carolina in the white jerseys, red pants tonight. And Queen City rocking the all blacks. Carolina with the coin toss win there. They will defer, meaning that the Corsairs will get things going to start this ball game. We'll get everything set up here. Battle of the 2-1 Corsairs and the 1-2 Skyhawks. We'll see who comes out on top here in just a moment. You're watching the Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music, live on YouTube. And we are chilly up here in the booth, as obviously the snow is coming down here. 26 degrees, but it feels like 11 tonight. as the ball is in the air and we are ready to go here from Buffalo. J.K. Johnson III, the return man, bringing things up the middle of the field, out to the 31-yard line, and that's where A.J. Caswell and company will start things off tonight, Marcus.
I'm excited to see what kind of air attack they have. The passing game for Queen City is always on point, and then you always have to worry about their running attack as well. So I would expect them to get going pretty quickly through the air.
In the gun to start things off. Caswell's going to do a quick QB sneak there, and we saw that a couple different times last week against the Pharaohs, and it wasn't all that successful. Loss of 1 there, Marcus, to start things off.
Queen City is one of the teams you'd actually be surprised. Usually they're pretty decent with those quarterback sneaks. Sometimes he'll run up and go get 8 or 10 yards. I've seen it plenty of times. He's one of the most efficient sneaking quarterbacks in the league.
I formation now, 3 wide outs. Caswell's going to throw for the first time. He's going to throw it out to his running back, Ash Odom, and Odom is barely able to get out of the backfield. They will actually mark him for no gain, so a 3rd and long coming up here for the Corsairs.
Ash Odom couldn't quite break out of that tackle. You always have to worry and make sure you have at least 2 people ready to tackle him. He had quite the season last season, and I don't expect too much less from him this season.
We've mentioned Caswell, Ash Odom, J.K. Johnson III, Chris Curtis, and Stephen Hacker, the other 2 wide receivers for this Corsairs group. We've got our first MeUndies laundry on the field, and we will get the call from the head referee. Looks like an offsides. So a sack on the play gets negated by the first penalty marker of the game. So it'll be a 3rd and 6 coming up here as Queen City gets reset.
That's rough. You think you get a sack and all of a sudden that comes back 5 yards. So lucky for Queen City, they didn't, it wasn't any worse for Carolina, but you definitely don't want to give up those nice plays on defense.
It'll be a handoff to Ash Odom. Odom dodges the first tackler, and he'll make it out to the 49-yard line. A great rumble there by the Corsairs running back to move the sticks.
Ash Odom is definitely one of the top running backs in this league. There's a reason he's been in multiple Pro Bowls. You don't want to let him into any open space.
In the gun, sidecar right is Ash Odom, 3 wide receivers. Caswell will throw again. He'll throw it to the far sideline there, and that is caught by Stephen Hacker for a 4-yard gain. MeUndies are the world's most comfortable underwear. Visit MeUndies.com/simulationFL for 15% off your purchase, which will help support the SFL through our partnership. Give the gift of comfort with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, free shipping, and returns. Signature soft and stretchy MeUndies. 2nd and 6 from the 45-yard line, 8:45 and counting to go here in the snowy first quarter from Buffalo. Caswell takes the snap. He's going to throw it to the far sideline again. He's got Chris Curtis for his first catch of the ball game, and that'll move the sticks again for the Corsairs.
A.J. Caswell so far this season, before this game, has 713 passing yards and 7 touchdowns. So he's definitely up there in the league with the passing yardage. I know some quarterbacks are anywhere between 700 and 800, so he's definitely up there with the best of those quarterbacks.
Everyone looking good so far with this Queen City offense. Carolina stacking the box, anticipating run. Caswell's going to throw, though. He's going to throw a dangerous pass over the middle of the field. Could have easily been batted down, but it will be complete to Stephen Hacker for a 9-yard gain.
Good job over the middle, making sure they get that completion. They didn't get to the first down, but they don't necessarily need to, especially with Ash Odom as your running back. You're pretty good 4 or 5 yards out and relying on Odom to be able to pick those first downs up for you.
2nd and 1 now. Twins towards the top of the screen. Ash Odom with another handoff and another first down for Queen City as they move the sticks. We'll get a look at this Carolina defense real quickly here. Phil Hall and Christopher Colon down there in the trenches in the defensive line. DJ Majesty, the acquisition from Houston, coming over to inside linebacker. Trevon Prasad at outside linebacker. Jack Burton at corner. Blake Chance coming back from Houston as well. And the rookie Johnny Savage at strong safety tonight. First and 10 from the 23 for Queen City. Another swing pass out there to Ash Odom. Well defended by the Carolina defense. Only a gain of 1.
AJ Caswell so far in this season is the second lowest picked off quarterback so far to play 3 games at only 2 interceptions on the season. And in comparison to the Carolina team, Mark Biddix has thrown 10 interceptions in this game. So I would be a little more worried and hope that the Carolina offense can minimize those turnovers.
This Corsair drive continuing here. 2nd and 9. Big hole up the middle for Ash Odom. Finally stopped after a gain of 6. Into the SFL red zone they go. From the 16-yard line, it'll be 3rd and 3.
Continue moving with good efficiency on running and passing. Odom's going to set him up here for a short 3rd down.
Approaching 5 minutes on this opening drive here by Queen City. Will they keep it going? Caswell's going to throw it over the middle, and they will. That's another catch by Hacker as they move the sticks to the 11-yard line. 1st and 10.
Good drive from Queen City. They really haven't had too much of an issue. They had a couple runs early that were stopped where Ash Odom didn't get too much, but so far through the air, they're doing just fine. Looks like the defense for Carolina might need to step up a little bit and see if they can keep him out of the end zone.
Offset I formation. Caswell under center. He'll throw it to the near sideline. He's got Chris Curtis. Curtis is very close to that 1st down marker and the goal line there as they'll mark him just shy of the 1st down. They'll mark him down right at the 1.
Now that you get down to the 1-yard line, you're probably in running territory where you don't want to put that ball in the air. Those red zone interceptions are one of the most common ways quarterbacks are intercepted in this league. So let's see if they hand it off here to Ash Odom.
Offset I formation again. Hand off to Ash Odom. Odom trying to get the corner, and he doesn't. He's just shy. They gave him about 6 inches on that play, so it'll be 3rd and very, very short coming up here.
Man, Odom really got lit up when he went there. I thought he might be able to truck that defender, but he got launched onto his back. It wasn't even close. The defender won that one easily.
3rd and inches. Might as well be 3rd and goal, though. Of course, they're still able to get a 1st down. We'll see what happens here. Ash Odom's going to get the handoff, following blockers, and he's going to carry himself into the end zone. Touchdown, Queen City.
Great job there by Ash Odom to get in and get that touchdown. That'll set him up good here. I wasn't entirely sure whether he'd be able to get in or whether they would stop him, but if he had made it close to the goal line, had not get in, they still would have gotten a brand new set of downs. So great running by Ash Odom, and now it's time for Carolina to step up and see what they're going to do after this extra point attempt.
And remember, Marcus, it's pretty cold out here. So the offense for Carolina has been sitting on the bench waiting for their opportunity, waiting and waiting and waiting. That was an over 6-minute drive there by the Queen City Corsairs to get things going. So we'll have to see as the extra point is up and good by Ricky Matthews. But we'll have to see what this Carolina offense has in store as they get out onto the field finally.
This touchdown that Ash Odom just scored was his first rushing touchdown of the season. So
I'm sorry, say that one more time?
The touchdown that Ash Odom just scored was his first rushing touchdown of the season. So in the previous 3 games, they were able to keep Ash Odom out of the end zone, but he was able to get his first touchdown this season against Carolina.
See, that makes no sense at all to me. Ash Odom should have been in the end zone far before this game here, as a good return for Carolina brings the ball out to the 28-yard line, and that's where we'll see Mark Biddix take over. Harish Prasad, the return man there. What do we expect from this Carolina Skyhawk offense, Marcus?
They need to be very careful with throwing the ball. The secondary for Queen City is a very good secondary. I'd keep the ball on the ground, make very safe passes, but I would not test that defensive secondary too much.
And they're going to test that secondary already, and Prasad with his first catch of the ball game. A dangerous throw by Biddix, but trusting his receiver to make the big play.
Prasad is definitely their top receiver, and you can see him be their target. Every single drive when they need a playmaker, they turn to him to get those first downs and touchdowns.
I'll probably be on the SFL top 10 plays coming up here with that one-handed grab. 1st and 10 for the Skyhawks. Randy Mercury, the running back, in the backfield with Biddix. Biddix is going to throw over the middle of the field. That's caught. Forward progress will mark him down at the 49-yard line. We'll get a look at the rest of this Carolina offense. I mentioned Mark Biddix, Randy Mercury, the 11th overall pick in the SFL draft. L.B. Allen III coming over from Atlanta this season. Dupree Hudson, the former Queen City Corsair, playing against his former team. And we mentioned Harish Prasad at wide receiver as well. Biddix changing things up at the line of scrimmage. Offset I formation on 2nd and 1. Hand off to Mercury. His first carry of the ball game results in a no gain. Great play out there by the Corsairs defense to stop him there.
Time to see what they're going to do here on 3rd and 1. They could definitely try to hand it off again, and although that didn't work on that first running attempt. I believe Mercury was able to get that if they give him another shot here, or they might try to fake him out and go for a quick pass.
Offset I formation again. Biddix is going to throw this time. He'll throw to the near sideline here, and Prasad able to get his foot in bounds. That will be a catch, and that will be a first down for the Skyhawks.
I think that's a good job. You just saw Mercury get stuffed at the line.
Ooh, we've got our first Harry's close shave, close call challenge. Let's take a look. I'm not sure about this one, Marcus. I think he might have gotten his foot in.
I thought he did on the first go-around here. Let's take a look. Wow, he's going pretty quick there. All he needs is 1 foot in once he catches the ball, and I think he had that.
I like it. We'll have to see what the call is here from good old referee 62.
After review, the play stands. The pass was complete. The catch was made prior to
and the ruling on the field will stand. Queen City will lose a timeout on that challenge. The first down will be standing on the field. So Carolina, fresh set of downs, and Queen City losing a timeout on the first Harry's close shave, close call challenge. Three minutes frozen on the clock in the first quarter. 1st and 10 from the 45 of Queen City for Carolina. Skyhawks are going to throw it towards the near sideline again. That is caught. Dupree Hudson with his first catch. And we'll move into a word here from Harry's. From shave sets to handles, Harry's provides quality craftsmanship made in Germany. We make Harry's products from the finest materials and ingredients to ensure they perform as well as they possibly can. Use the coupon code SIMULATIONFL at purchase from harrys.com. Portion of your purchase supports the SFL, Harry's official razor of the SFL. And down goes Biddix, standing in the pocket there, and he didn't have a ton of time. Great sack by the linebacker Avery King.
Avery King was able to get in there and made sure that Carolina didn't get enough time. He didn't even get blocked. He just was able to go around all the defenders, find an open lane straight to the quarterback, and Biddix didn't have anywhere to go or anywhere to put the football, so all he could do is tuck the ball and take a hit.
We'll get a look at the rest of the defense here. Jeff Duffy at defensive tackle, Pharaoh Rains and Oscar Dunkley at corner. Zane Doty, Achilles Frank, the free safeties, and Nacho Sicario, the strong safety. And another sack coming for this Queen City Corsair defense. Carolina goes down once again, and man, his sets are letting them know about it.
You know, I was just saying how good the secondary is for Queen City, and I absolutely do believe they are. I just wasn't expecting them to come out and get 2 sacks on this first defensive possession, or defensive drive, I guess, for Queen City.
So Queen City able to hold. We'll get our first punt from Scott Davis. Fair catch called for by Queen City at the 19-yard line. J.K. Johnson III, the return man there. And with 1:26 left to go here in the opening quarter, we'll see Queen City come out for their second possession. A long, methodical drive the first time around, ending in an Ash Odom touchdown run.
Methodical, and it worked. If you look at the stats in this last drive for A.J. Caswell, he's 7 for 7, 100% completion percentage, so efficient in the air and on the ground.
Caswell's going to throw again. Quick throw over the middle of the field, and he's got his man. Some shifty moves there by Chris Curtis, able to get the first down out to the 29.
First down means it opens up the playbook. They don't have to worry about whether or not they make a run for a yard or not. So these wide receivers are always top-notch out of Queen City.
So 1st and 10 now from the 29-yard line. Ash Odom is sidecar right in the gun with Caswell. Caswell, good pocket protection. J.K. Johnson, the third with a catch, trying to make something out of nothing there, and is being dragged down at the 37-yard line. He'll get a gain of 7.
Not entirely sure who was on his coverage assignment. It didn't look like he was really covered by anybody. When he caught the ball, it didn't seem like there was anybody within about 5 yards of where he was. But they were able to converge on him very quickly to make sure he didn't go anywhere.
2nd and short might be the final play of the first quarter. Ash Odom with a handoff here. He'll get hit at the line of scrimmage and then driven backwards. It'll be a gain of 1 technically, but it still is going to be 3rd and short. Bain in there on the tackle.
Great job by Carolina making sure that Ash Odom didn't get free or loose. As soon as he got to the line, they pushed him straight back. So that's going to make a 3rd and 2 where Queen City's going to have to make a choice.
So at the end of 1, Queen City Corsairs up 7-0 over the Carolina Skyhawks. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music live on YouTube. And as we flip sides of the field here, 3rd and short coming up here for Queen City. Handoff to Ash Odom. Odom has plenty of blockers on the right-hand side there. He's able to get the first down and more out to the 45-yard line.
That's definitely what Ash Odom specializes in, is making sure that when he gets the ball, once he gets contacted, he just keeps driving and keeps moving, you know. He moved about 2 or 3 yards with someone trying to pull him down.
And Shravan Prasad, the one bringing him down there. Otherwise, he was probably going to be gone for 6. Odom, the single back. Caswell's going to throw near sideline. He's got Stephen Hacker for a gain of 5 there. But everyone's been a little bit active here in this offense today. Caswell's 10 for 10 through the air. Ash Odom's getting some yards on the ground. Receivers are getting some yards. This is a good balanced attack here, Marcus.
And the balance is good because Carolina never knows quite for sure whether they're going to be focusing on running or whether they're going to be passing. You know, if you're running 70% of the time, they're going to be expecting the run, and they can't really cue in on anything when you're this balanced.
And Ash Odom has blockers on the far sideline trying to throw the stiff arm. He'll at least get the first down out to the 42-yard line of Carolina. That was a great run, great blocking up front by the Corsairs.
I think that was amazing blocking there on the side to make sure the defenders, and then they picked up that block there, and Odom was able to get to the first down marker. He wasn't able to stiff arm and get through that defender, but if he had, he probably would have been gone. But as long as you keep efficiently racking up those yards, it doesn't matter whether you get that touchdown now or later.
Jack Burton with the stop there again. Could have gone 4-6 if he wasn't there to wrap him up. Odom with another carry and another big gaping hole up the middle. He's going to get first down yardage out to the 29-yard line, and this rushing attack is just proving lethal right now for Queen City.
They have found a couple times where Carolina was able to stop them, but they're also letting up these big 10-yard runs. And, you know, you can't do that, you know. It's nice when you can make those stops when they're being balanced out by those big runs. It's better if you're letting them up only 2 or 3 yards every attempt.
Three wide receivers, twins towards the bottom of the screen. Odom in the backfield, Caswell under center. Odom's going to get another handoff here. He slips the first tackler, and he'll get dragged down at the 24-yard line. Gain of 5 again.
And with that, Ash Odom's over 60 yards already for this game. So, you know, very efficient on the ground.
This whole offense of Queen City is looking very, very good. Off to a slow start last week against New Orleans. Certainly not the case here, as Caswell will sling it out to the fullback, Diamante. He'll get a couple on the play off of his first catch, and it'll be 3rd and short coming up.
Yeah, they did a good job. The pass was behind the line of scrimmage, and then he did a good job turning around and getting some yards out of that, making sure it wasn't a loss on the play. Sometimes they have trouble turning that corner, and Queen City did not have any issues on that play.
2 backs in the backfield for Caswell on this 3rd and 3. Caswell will throw. He'll throw it towards the far sideline, tipped in, incomplete. Trying to see who he's looking for. J.K. Johnson, the 3rd, was who he was trying to eyeball there. Incomplete, great coverage by the Skyhawk defense.
That'll be A.J. Caswell's first incomplete pass for this game. And it looked like they just had too tight a coverage, and then he just couldn't get his hands on that ball to bring it in.
So we'll see a field goal attempt from kicker-punter extraordinaire Ricky Matthews. A 39-yard attempt here. And it's a windy night tonight as well, so we'll see how this shapes up. Kick is up and through. They'll mark it from 38. And a good kick there by Matthews in the wind and snow tonight.
You know, it's only 3 points, but points are good, you know, when you're up and you're driving. You know, it wasn't the 7 points they were looking for, but anytime you continue to raise those points on your defense, the other team, and the other team isn't scoring points, it's always a win. So far, I wouldn't be worried if I was Queen City unless Carolina starts putting points on the board.
So a 10-0 score in favor of the Corsairs. Matthews boots it down the field, fielded at about the 15-yard line is Prasad, and he will make it out to the 31-yard line. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Dupree Hudson. Or, excuse me. I'm getting all my names mixed up here. Dupree Hudson with the return there. He'll make it out to the 31-yard line.
Carolina's had some success through the air, but they have only ran it once for Randy Mercury, and he didn't get a gain on the play.
Looks like Biggs is going to throw. He'll throw to the near sideline. That's a catch. Hudson with another one there. And he'll only get 2, though. Good coverage there by the Corsairs secondary.
So far, Carolina's offense, and I guess to an extent their defense, has been having a little bit of trouble getting going in this game. There's still plenty of time left, but they definitely want to make sure they make this a closer game before halftime.
And as Eric Barkley mentioned in the chat there, it's going to eventually hit 25 below, up to 2 feet of snow coming up later this week here in Buffalo. This is just the start here, as we're in store for a beautiful, chilly game. As the Corsairs, that's Myers there with the stop. 3rd and 6 coming up here for Carolina.
Carolina's going to have to pull out their bag of tricks to see if they can get a 6-yard gain here. I'm not sure if they're going to hand it off. Probably going to go through the air and look for their big-time wide receiver players to make a play here.
Fiddix is going to throw. Good pocket. He'll throw it over the middle. Almost picked off. Avery King was right there. Could have easily taken it back to the house. It'll fall incomplete, and another punt coming for the Skyhawks.
I figured if anybody was going to make a play on that, it would be one of their receivers, but the Queen City defense was all over that football and nearly had, like you said, a pick 6. So, you know, you got to be very careful with the football, especially when you're down 10. You can't afford interceptions, and you definitely can't afford pick 6s.
So the couple possessions the Skyhawks have just been completely unfruitful as far as offense goes. Meanwhile, the Corsairs able to get 10 points on the board with their first 2 possessions. J.K. Johnson III getting mauled at the 25-yard line, and that is where they will take over. The SFL is sponsored by APM Music, Production Music Library and Custom Music House, and in part by Bid Central and Fuel. MeUndies, the world's most comfortable underwear for men and women. And by Harry's, all you need for a close, comfortable shave. Offset I formation for the Corsairs. Ash Odom getting stood up right at the line of scrimmage. They'll be generous and give him a yard. I don't think he even deserved that one on that one, Marcus.
Yeah, it looks like maybe he was able just to get the ball out a yard before he got pulled back, but I definitely think that so far this game, Queen City's offense has really had their way with the Carolina defense, so that was a good stop, a little bit of a motivation for Carolina.
Trips towards the bottom of the screen. Quick throw. And I believe he got his feet in bounds. Did Hacker. He did. And they'll mark him out at the 30-yard line. Could have gone the other way, though, there, Marcus.
That was very close. I thought that defender was definitely going to get a hand on that football, but I think Caswell put a little too much power on that football, and it just went right past him, and he just couldn't get in front of it in time.
Definitely put some mustard on that ball there. 3rd and 5 from the 30. 3 wide receivers. He'll have Odom sidecar right in the gun. Caswell in trouble. He's shuffling his feet. Throw it over the middle. That's incomplete. It was looking for, I believe that was Chris Curtis over the middle, but good coverage by the Skyhawks, and we'll see a Ricky Matthews punt.
Yeah, they made sure that Caswell didn't have anywhere to go with the ball, and as soon as he tried to get it to a receiver, they made sure that they hit the receiver as soon as the ball got there to make sure nobody was able to catch that football. So it was a good job keeping Queen City from moving the chains.
And it's early on in this ballgame, but that was a key stop there, Marcus, to get Carolina a little bit of momentum. If they can get some points on the board here, it'll go a long way to kind of keep themselves in this ballgame. Fair catch called for by Prasad at the 35-yard line, and that will be where the Skyhawks take over with decent field position.
You really don't want to go down 17 points before halftime. It's one of those big holes that it's very hard to dig yourself out of. So you always want to try, if you can, to make sure it's at least, a 7 or a 3-point game at halftime. Give yourself a little bit of a buffer to get back into that game.
So the 6-0-9 offset I formation for the Skyhawks. Biddix will hand it off to Mercury. Randy Mercury with some room, and he gets absolutely leveled. What a hit there by Pharaoh Reigns.
I would like to see Mercury get used a little bit more. He's had a few rushing attempts, and he just has not been able to get a whole lot of yards besides that particular run where he was able to pick up good 6 yards.
Thought he could have gone for much, much more, but that was a huge hit there by Reigns to knock him down. Only limit the damage to 6. Mercury's going to get another shot here. He's shuffling around, trying to bounce at the outside, and he will get dragged down at the 41-yard line. 3rd and 4 coming up here. And this Corsairs defense has been looking pretty good here, Marcus.
Their run defense has been phenomenal. You can see the number difference between the 2 running backs. Odom at 5 yards a carry, and Mercury currently at 1.8.
Handoff again to Mercury, trying to bounce it again to the outside, and again, there is just no room to run on the ground, and the Corsairs will get the ball back after a 3-and-out from Carolina.
Those outside runs can be some of the most dangerous ones, because if you get around that corner, there's not always a lot of people on that edge to try to bring them down, but every time they go for those outside runs, there's at least 3 Queen City defenders right on top of them. You just can't make anything out of it.
No one comes after the punt. Instead, they'll set up the return for Johnson. Fielded at about the 15-yard line. He'll bring it up the field to the 23. And Queen City will take over for another possession with 4:30 left on the clock here in the first half. And as we mentioned, Marcus, if they're able to kind of go up 17-0, it'll be a lot more difficult for the Skyhawks to come back.
Absolutely. Because then you need to start getting those defensive takeaways. Punting, stopping punts is great, but then time on the clock becomes a factor, and you have to start getting those interceptions and fumbles.
Caswell throws it over the middle of the field. It was a bit of a cluster there in the middle of the field, as Hacker, I believe, was the intended receiver. Either way, good coverage, incomplete.
Might have been a little miscommunication from his receiver. I think he overthrew the ball just a little bit, but I think he thought his receiver was going to be able to get a little bit further down the field a little faster than he did, and it ended up being incomplete.
2 backs in the backfield for Caswell, 3 wide receivers. Carolina with 6 men in the box. Caswell's going to throw over the middle, and a fingertip catch by Stephen Hacker, able to move the sticks for Queen City. What a catch.
I saw that throw, and I sat there, and I thought, man, that's going to go right between 2 defenders, or at least there's going to be 2 defenders right around the play area that might be able to get a hand on that, and there was a great job putting it right between the defenders, right where the wide receiver was going to get a hand on it.
Blake Chance had plenty of opportunity to get at least one hand on the ball, if not two. And instead, you'll see Hacker with the catch and moving the sticks for Queen City. Tossing it out to Ash Odom now is Caswell, and oh boy, did he get annihilated. Prasad in there with a huge hit after a gain of 5.
Odom was able to grab that ball with one hand while he was turning the corner, and yeah, then he got lit up and he got knocked over. I wasn't sure if he was going to win that one or if the defender was, but Carolina hit him really hard when he turned around on that corner.
2nd and 5, time winding down here in the first half. Carolina showing blitz will back out. Caswell he's thrown, and a diving attempt made at the pick. Falls incomplete, intended for Chris Kurvitz.
I don't know if it was getting hit when he threw for Caswell that made it go incomplete, or if it was trying to get around that defender who was diving for the ball. But in any case, it worked out good for Carolina. You know, they weren't able to get their hands on the ball, but neither was Queen City.
So now a 3rd and 5. Caswell in the gun. He's got a back to either side of him. 3 wide receivers. Caswell's going to throw it quickly towards the near sideline. He's got a man, Stephen Hacker, and no one's going to touch him as he waltzes into the end zone. Touchdown, Corsairs.
Wide open, and those are the type of plays you absolutely cannot give up on such a tough team like Queen City. You know, I want to take a look at the replay here to get a better view of what happened, because by the time we saw it, we saw nothing but a wide open receiver. So let's see if we can get a better look. Looks like nobody stuck with them, and by the time they saw where the ball was going, they all had to turn around and run for it, and just way too much space between the receiver and the defenders.
Great play, great pitch and catch there by Caswell as he's able to hit Hacker on the huge touchdown play. And with 3:16 left to go, Ricky Matthews can make this a 17-point ball game. Good pressure up the middle by the Carolina special teams, but the extra point is up and through. 17-0 your score in favor of the Corsairs in snowy Buffalo. And this has just been a clinic so far by Queen City.
The difference in the offensive yardage is pretty staggering between these two teams after the kickoffs. I'll give you a few numbers.
And as Matthews boots it down the field, Anthony Hudson with the return, and he will bring it up to about the 33-yard line. That's where they'll mark him down. Actually, I apologize. That was Prasad with the return.
Between the rushing and passing for Queen City, they're up to about 200 offensive yards, and Carolina's only at about 40 offensive yards between their running and passing. So before it was only a 10-point game, but now you're starting to see that the difference between those defenses and those offenses are starting to make the score a big, much wider margin.
Bidix is going to try and get some back here. He throws it deep over the middle of the field, tipped and incomplete. There was good coverage out there by the Corsairs, and I'm not sure if Bidix had any business throwing that football.
You know, as a quarterback, once you start going down, you need to, in score, once you're behind, you start looking for where you can make those big plays, and you start throwing riskier footballs. As the most picked off quarterback in the league so far this year, I definitely know how it feels to want to make those riskier plays, but sometimes it doesn't work out. You need to be very careful when you throw the football.
Takes a brave man to admit that, by the way, Marcus. Handoff. No, it was going to be a handoff to Mercury. Broken play, and Bidix is going to scramble for a ton of yards out to the 47-yard line. What a heck of a play by the wily veteran there, Mark Bidix.
Yeah, if you were able to tell me which quarterback was about to run for about 12 yards, I probably would have put my money on Caswell, but that was a great job, knocked over a ref along the way.
That was a very funny play to watch there, and you're absolutely right, Marcus. If there were if we had to choose between the two quarterbacks tonight, it would have been Caswell that we would have chosen for that scramble there. But Bidix will move the chains, and he's going to throw. He's got time. He'll check it down short over the middle. Could not quite reel that in, and that'll fall incomplete. 2nd and 10.
It's tough when you're getting hit and you got to try to catch the football, but sadly that's kind of the way it is in the league. And you know, even when you're getting hit, they're still hoping you're going to catch, hold on to that ball and catch it. And sometimes you just gotta take one for the team and try it. You know, you're gonna get hit anyway, so you might as well hold on to the football along the way if you can.
Just over 2.5 minutes to go here in the opening half. Trips bunch towards the bottom of your screen here for Biddix. He's going to throw towards the opposite sideline. Tipped and incomplete. He just needed to put a little bit more air on that, but Oscar Dunkley made a great play on the ball.
Amazing play. It was definitely an underthrown football. Well, not totally underthrown. If Dunkley hadn't been there, it probably would have made it to the receiver. But, you know, you can't expect your receiver to be able to get a ball like that over a defender. And Dunkley did a good job knocking that ball down.
And again, with the snow and wind like it is tonight, it's going to make the passing game a little bit harder. Biddix seeing no one to throw it to. He'll check it down over to Mercury. And Mercury able to make it out to the 42-yard line, but no further. It'll be another 4th down for the Skyhawks.
It's really good when you can depend on your running back to be able to get you some yards when nothing is open. But unfortunately, on 3rd down, he's probably not going to get you a full 10 yards, and now they're going to have to punt. You know, that's not necessarily Mercury's fault. It's just hard to make a play out of that.
We'll see another Scott Davis punt on the other side of the quick 2-minute warning. You're watching the SFL presented by APM Music live on YouTube. Queen City Corsairs holding a firm 17-0 lead over the Carolina Skyhawks. And we'll see if the Skyhawks can pin them deep. Good looking punts. It falls in inside the 10-yard line. I thought it had bounced out of bounds, but I guess not. It somehow stays in and bounces into the end zone. What an unfortunate circumstance there, Marcus.
Rolled right into the end zone and then right out the left side. Unfortunately, it went straight through the end zone on its way out.
Quip Design delivers simple ways to keep your mouth healthy with time vibrations, brush head refills for $5, refilled every 3 months. Covered for life with free shipping for life. Use the link posted in the chat, and your purchase will help support the SFL through our partnership. Quip, a more wholesome clean, as we get an 8-yard catch by J.K. Johnson III, and they will bring that out to the 28-yard line. Clock continues to roll.
I don't want to say that it's panic time for Carolina, but you definitely want to make sure they don't get anywhere near points on this drive before half. If you're lucky, you'll be able to get the ball back and try to do something for yourselves, but they can't let Queen City get any points on this drive before half.
Offset I formation. Ash Odom with the carry. Squeaks through the first tackler and able to get first down yardage out to the 35-yard line as we get a look at his numbers today.
Ash Odom's running for 67 yards right now, and I quickly averaged out what he had previously, the 241 yards between 3 games. He's averaging roughly about 80 yards a game, so he's on pace to have that almost in the first half.
Caswell to throw again. He'll check it down to Diamante, the fullback. A little bit confused as to where he's at, and he will get knocked down behind the line. Clock still continuing to roll. Queen City losing their first timeout to a challenge earlier in the ball game, so only 2 timeouts to work with here.
With all the snow on the field, I believe he thought he might have seen a white jersey there for a second, realized it wasn't there, and went back for it.
So effectively, he saw a ghost.
I assume so, yes.
Offset I formation. Caswell's going to hand it off to Ash Odom. Odom trying to find a hole here. He'll break it out to the outside, get tackled at the 38. No huddle going for Queen City. 10 seconds, 9. Handoff again to Odom. Odom shuffling around. He's got room on the near sideline. 3 seconds frozen on the clock, and Queen City will finally call their second timeout.
Yeah, it was interesting seeing them run with such little time on the clock. You know, when you're starting a run with 9 seconds left, there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to get a timeout in time to do anything.
So this is definitely within the Hail Mary wheelhouse here, Marcus.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they're going to do here. You know, they can definitely go for that Hail Mary if they want to, and it looks like they might be doing that.
So 3 seconds left on the clock. They'll test Caswell's arm here as they are sitting at the Corsair 48-yard line. High snap. Caswell in trouble, spinning around in the pocket, avoids the first sack and not going to avoid the second as Bain gets in there and makes another stop, and that will bring us to the end of the half. A good stop there by the Skyhawks to prevent Queen City from getting on the board any further, but already a 17-0 ball game in favor of Queen City. We will bring up the 2K Sports halftime show, give you the first half stats and highlights, and we'll be back on the other side of the halftime show. You're watching the SFL on YouTube, presented by APM Music. And welcome back to snowy Buffalo, New York for the Queen City Corsairs home game against the Carolina Skyhawks tonight. Carolina won the toss, deferred to the second half, so Queen City will go ahead and boot the ball downfield. And boy, do the Skyhawks need the football right now. Down 17, less than 100 total offensive yards in the first half, Marcus.
Yeah, the Queen City offense has really been bullying this Skyhawks defense when you take a look at the fact that they're almost at 250 offensive yards and Carolina hasn't quite made it to 100 yet. They definitely need to make those halftime adjustments and figure out where those yards and those points are going to come from.
Eric Vincent alongside Marcus Dunhill, Dan Mitchell on stats tonight. Want to thank you guys for coming out and checking out this presentation of the Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music. First and 10 from the 26-yard line for Carolina. Vidics trying to get something going through the air to start things off, and looks like Harish Prasad able to get that foot in bounds. He will get a gain of 4 on first down.
It's not the most glamorous play, but 4 yards is 4 yards. It makes it a closer second down attempt. If they get 4 more yards here, then they got a manageable run on third down. So, 4 yards definitely isn't the end of the world.
2 backs in the backfield for Mark Biddix. Turn around, hand it off to Randy Mercury, and Mercury just has not been able to get anything going on the ground today as he stopped behind the line for a loss of 2.
They just haven't been able to get that running game going quite yet. They've had quite a few attempts, and Mercury just hasn't found a way to get that going.
Trips bunch towards the bottom of the screen here for Biddix, who will throw on 3rd and 8. He's got time. Hit as he's thrown. A wobbler over the middle of the field that is caught. What an incredible play by the wide receiver to bring it in. That'll move the sticks, moving into Queen City territory.
That's honestly a very lucky play, because when you get hit when you throw the football, nobody knows where that ball's about to go. And it stayed relatively on course and still went somewhere where it was safe enough for their receiver to pick up the ball. So great play by the wide receiver and quarterback to keep that out of Queen City's hands, but they got lucky that that ball didn't go straight to a defender.
Cameron Walsh, the recipient there of that incredible catch. Great throw by Biddix, who's changing things up at the line here. Offside I formation, handoff to Randy Mercury. Mercury trying to throw the stiff arm, but will get stood up at the 45-yard line. 2nd and 8 coming up here.
Still doing good, still moving. They need to, it's tough. To have a well-balanced game, you need to get that running game going, and it's not going yet. And, you know, they have to rely much heavier on the passing game if they can't get the running game going.
Nacho Sicario and Avery King with the stop on that previous play. Biddix to throw again. He's got a wide open man, and that's Prasad knocking down the referee in the process. He's been knocked down a couple different times tonight, but able to move the sticks out to the 30-yard line.
Zebras are really getting abused in this game, it looks like. But yeah, it was a great job, and that ref was just too close to the receiver, and, you know, you can't be standing, you know, an inch away from the receiver when he catches the football. He's going to turn around, and he doesn't care whether the ref is standing there. His job's to get to the end zone. If you're in his way, he's going to go through you.
Well, he's kind of blending a little bit out there, too, with the white with the snow and everything else. So maybe that's what it was. But I don't blame Prasad for throwing a little forearm shiver there. And Biddix is going to hand it off to Mercury. Mercury able to get positive yardage this time out to the 29-yard line. Only a gain of 1. Tackle made by King.
It's a good job making sure that they don't get anything out of that particular play. You know, we want to see how they're going to be able to finish up their drive. This is the best field position Carolina's had all game.
Wide receivers bunch towards the bottom of the screen. Biddix is going to throw it short over the middle. Plenty of running room, though, was Dupree Hudson, and he's able to make it out to the 21-yard line. The former Corsair able to make some work against his former team.
3rd and 2, you got to be very careful. You have 2 yards, so that's definitely manageable for the run, although the running game hasn't been the greatest for Carolina. They want to try to get into the end zone if they can. 3 points will help, but when you're down 17, you want to narrow that gap as quickly as you can.
They will hand it off to Mercury. Mercury able to get the first down and more, and he's into the SFL red zone out to the 14-yard line. That was one of his better-looking runs on the night tonight, Marcus.
It's good he picks up that first down when you need him to, because they can't really afford, if they can help it, to be kicking field goals right now. And great job by Mercury to make sure that one of his better runs is an important time where they need that first down. They need to keep that drive alive.
Same formation. Mercury sidecar right for Biddix. Biddix in trouble. He's going to throw it short, just past the line of scrimmage there, and that's Walsh with another catch, and he'll make it out to the 13-yard line, but no further.
Coverage by Queen City has been really strong, making sure that the Carolina receivers can't make it very far if they catch the football, and they made sure that where he caught the football was the furthest he went.
6:35 and counting to go here in the third quarter. 2 backs in the backfield for Biddix. He will throw, and he's going to check it down quickly to Mercury. Mercury not able to keep the feet churning, and will get ushered out of bounds at the 12-yard line, so it'll be 3rd and long coming up.
The Queen City defense didn't let him go very far besides out of bounds. They kept it really good and defended where he got too far out to the sidelines, and Queen City cut off his ability to come back in, and they just pushed him out.
Trips towards the bottom of the screen for Carolina. 3 down linemen for the Corsairs. Biddix is going to air it out towards the back of the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown, Carolina.
That is what you need to get back into this game. A great opportunity for them to find some open space in the back of the end zone to get that touchdown.
Harish Prasad, what a catch there. Able to bring his team back and get some points on the board finally. Great job by this Carolina Skyhawks team, moving the ball down the field and converting the touchdown. We will see if they can convert the extra point in the snow and the wind. Ezekiel Klein on the field to do so. Good snap. Kicker slips as he's kicking the football, able to get it up and through. And with this snow, it is just shoddy field underneath you, shoddy footing. So we'll probably see that more. The SFL is brought to you in part by Matt Doyle Designs, official design partner of the SFL. MediaTek Institute. Visit mediatek.edu for diploma programs. Turn your passion into profession. And Movement, premium watches, sunglasses, and accessories. Klein will boot it downfield here, and the Corsairs will field it inside about the 15-yard line. J.K. Johnson III will bring it out to the 31. where the Corsairs will take over.
Queen City offense has really been having their way really with this Carolina defense, but the defense needs to take some notes from Carolina's offense, who just had their best drive of the game, and they need to match that energy, that enthusiasm, get that motivation going, and make a stop here. That's, the best thing they could do for their team right now.
Offset I formation for the Corsairs. Caswell's going to throw far sideline. He's got Hacker, and he will step out of bounds at the 37-yard line. He's over the century mark on the evening.
100 yards there for Hacker on 8 receptions, and you can see Prasad for the Carolina Skyhawks is also getting up there as well. I believe around 63, 65 yards. They're getting close to that 100-yard mark as well.
2nd and 4 now from the 37-yard line. 2 backs in the backfield, 3 wide receivers. Free play for the Corsairs. Handoff to Ash Odom. And the MeUndies laundry on the field is not going to matter at all, as Ash Odom gets the first down and more for the Corsairs.
Probably see that penalty here declined by Queen City.
Neutral zone infraction, number 92, defense, the penalty.
And as expected, the Corsairs do decline the penalty, so it will be 1st and 10 off of the long Ash Odom run.
As an offense, in a way, you kind of almost are upset a little bit that you don't get any yardage out of the penalty, that your play was better than what you could get for the penalty, because you sit there thinking, man, they still were offsides. I wish they'd still tack on an extra 5 yards to the end of that, but that's not how it works.
Only on dead ball fouls. Bunch of wide receivers. Ash Odom's going to get another handoff and another big run as he gets a gain of 9 out to the 44-yard line of Carolina. They're already in enemy territory.
Very similar to the previous play, just found a hole over the middle and was able to rush into it and was able to get 9 yards before anybody was able to get to him.
2nd and 1. 7 in the box here for Carolina, expecting a run. Instead, Caswell's going to throw. He'll throw it over the middle, and he's got a man. Somehow a catch in that jumbled mess of bodies. Hacker with another catch, up to 116 yards and a touchdown tonight.
I surely thought there was too many people around that area to be able to get that pass, but I was wrong. Carolina defenders were pretty close, could have got a hand on it, but nobody was playing in front of the receiver, in front of the ball. They were all behind him, and that's why Hacker was able to get his hands on that football.
Caswell working with an offset I formation. Carolina anticipating run. Caswell's going to throw again, though. Good pocket. Throws it over the middle. Tipped and incomplete. Receiver could not hang on as it falls to the turf.
I think that was about a little too risky of a play. You might be able to get that ball to the receiver, but the defender's sitting there watching you and watching the player, standing right next to him, so there's no way that defender wasn't going to try to hit that receiver when he caught the ball. So it's a pretty low probability that he's going to hold on to that football. You're better off maybe throwing it away. You don't want to get your receiver hurt for anything like that.
3 wide receivers towards the top of the screen for Caswell. 7-step drop. He'll throw it deep to the near sideline. Tipped and incomplete. Good coverage out there by Pruitt, able to break up the pass.
Pruitt did a good job watching that football. It looked like it might have been a little bit underthrown, but when those footballs get lofted up pretty quickly by the quarterback, you think they might have a receiver who was pretty far ahead of their coverage, and it looked like their receiver was. They just couldn't get the ball to him.
Queen City converting 50% of their 3rd down attempts. Will we see another conversion here for the Corsairs? Throw it to the near sideline, caught by Curtis, and barely stopped behind the line. A great play again by Pruitt to make sure that he stopped.
Very lucky. I think his knee might have went down just a little bit before the ball went to the line. So very good and very lucky play there that Curtis went down to the ground as quick as he did and didn't get that ball over the line for a 1st down.
So a 38-yard field goal try for Ricky Matthews. He's already converted one today. High snap. Good footing as he kicks it up and through for Queen City from 37, and that'll extend the lead to 20-7.
So with that response by Queen City, you know, the deficit of points was originally 17-0, then it became 17-7, and now it's 20-7. So it worked in Carolina's favor of 4 points, but you still need to make sure you close that gap. If you go 4 points per drive, it's still going to take you, 5 or 6 drives to get those points. So either your defense needs to step up, or you need to make some more plays on offense.
Prasad throwing out a bunch of different spin moves there, but able to be brought down at the 28-yard line. Still a decent return, and Carolina will see what they can do here. Still not a runaway yet, Marcus. They still got plenty of time to get themselves back in the ballgame, and a touchdown would do wonders here.
If they get a touchdown here, it's only a 6-point game, and then it's, anybody's game depending on what the defense can do. But the defense has struggled a bit stopping Queen City.
But it's a bit of a delayed handoff there to Randy Mercury, and Mercury not able to go anywhere. Great stop by the defensive front of Queen City. Loss of 2 on the play.
Trying to run it off to the other direction, and it didn't keep anybody fooled on Queen City. They saw that coming and stopped them behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 2, unfortunately. I think they just need to start handing off and running up the line if they can. I don't think they're going to get outside runs.
Fiddix is going to throw, and he'll check it down short. Good play there by Oscar Dunkley, able to throw his shoulder into Mercury, and only getting a yard of the 2 back, so it'll still be a 3rd and long.
I thought Mercury might have caught the ball up a little bit further and got launched back, but I think that was a pretty good Queen City spot on that football.
It's getting loud here in Buffalo. Fiddix will throw to the far sideline, led his man out of bounds, and it'll be a 3 and out for the Skyhawks.
When you're down, you take any opportunity you can, and I saw that play, and I knew either he was going out of bounds or a defender was going to get that football, but I knew that had almost no chance to go to the first down marker, unfortunately, and you hate to see drives end that way. Especially
when you're down 13 already, trying to keep yourself in the game. On the road in a hostile environment with hostile weather. Certainly not what you want to see if you're a Skyhawk fan. Punt block was coming, able to get it off. Fair catch called for and made at the 44-yard line by Johnson. And Queen City will have good field position here to start things off with about 2:19 left to go here in the 3rd.
You don't want to give Queen City that kind of field position because they're only about 25 yards out of being able to kick field goals again. And so far, yards have come pretty easily to the Queen City offense.
I formation this time for Caswell. He'll take a short drop. He's in trouble already, and Carolina's going to wrap him up and bring him down. Sack on the play, only a loss of 2, but great play by the defensive front of Carolina.
Need to make sure they don't get into that field goal range, and just as I said, Queen City is doing good with picking up their yardage. Carolina was able to make a really good play and make it a loss play, and hopefully they can keep that momentum and keep pushing Queen City backwards.
Christopher Colon and Phil Hall both getting in there and getting half a sack. 2nd and 12 now, handoff to Ash Odom, who lowers his shoulders and gets a good chunk of that yardage back. Dragged down at midfield by DJ Majesty, and it'll be 3rd and 4 coming up here for Queen City.
Ash Odom is just one of those very strong running backs where, even when he gets the football, even against great run defense teams, he's even going to pick up, 5 yards.
And Odom's trying to find some room here on 3rd down, but the Carolina defense holds. Great stop, and they'll get the ball back here. And a 3 and out this time from Queen City.
Great defense by Carolina. I think it was all on that initial sack to push them back. Kind of threw off, I think, the momentum for Queen City, and then they ran a few times and just weren't able to get those yards back. So now it's Carolina's turn to do something with the ball.
Bit of a crummy snap as Matthews is able to field it. It will bounce inside the 10, still going towards the end zone, and it will go into the end zone for a touchback.
It's tough with those those downs with the punt, you got to be very careful not to let the ball go into the end zone, nor take the ball with you into the end zone. You don't see a ton of balls downed within the 5-yard line, but when you do, it gives your defense a great opportunity to potentially safety the other team, but unfortunately, they will not have an opportunity here.
Around handoff to Mercury, and Mercury goes nowhere. Again, this run defense of Queen City has just been stifling Mercury all night long.
It looks like Mercury right now is averaging about a yard a carry, I believe. And the numbers for Biddix are pretty good, 107 quarterback rating.
Minor victories as they've got 7 points on the board. We'll probably see this as the final play of the third quarter. Mercury probably was going to slip that tackler there, but this Queen City defense has been gang tackling all night long. Dunkley and Frank in there on the stop. And that will be the final play of the third quarter. Everybody get your fours up. We got the final frame coming your way. 20-7 your score in favor of the Corsairs. You're watching the Simulation Football League on YouTube, presented by APM Music. Bunched wide receivers towards the bottom of the screen here for Carolina on 3rd and 6. Biddix trying to keep things going. He's got a receiver down towards the far sideline, tipped and incomplete. Great coverage out there by Oscar Dunkley to tip it and make it fall to the turf.
You know, the plus for both these teams is nobody's had an interception yet, so at least they're doing a good job keeping the ball out of the hands of the defensive players. You know, that's good, especially in a snow game like this. You never quite know where those balls are going to go.
So another 3 and out for Carolina, trying desperately to keep themselves in this game. Good punt, good hang time by Carolina, and fielded right at the 35-yard line. Well, he'll be tackled there, and Queen City will take over once again.
Queen City is definitely still has the advantage in this game. It's been a little bit better for Carolina in the second half than the first half. They've gotten points, they've made some stops, only let up a field goal so far in the second half. But time is the enemy, so Queen City doesn't necessarily need to score points as long as they keep taking time off the clock.
And some more MeUndies laundry on the field as Ash Odom will get a gain of about 6 or 7 on the play. And we'll head down to the field there for referee 62's call. And once again, Phil Hall getting a little bit of a jump there. And Queen City, I believe, will decline that penalty. It'll be 2nd and short coming up here.
You know, if I was Carolina, I'd stop knocking over the referees.
Do you think maybe that's part of the problem there? They're just tossing laundry on the field as a bit of a spiteful effort there?
You never quite know, and I would just say to be safe, probably don't knock over the referees.
And I stand corrected. It is 1st and 5, so Queen City took the penalty there, giving themselves a little extra time as Ash Odom throws a vicious stiff arm, and he gets the first down anyway, out past the first down marker to just past the 35-yard line.
The running for Queen City has been good. They've not been quite as good running, I think, in the second half than they were in the first half.
From the Corsair 47-yard line, 1st and 10. Skyhawks anticipating a run here with an offset eye. Odom trying to bounce things outside, and he'll get nailed by Majesty and company. Loss of 1 on the play. 2nd down.
114 yards so far on 21 carries and a touchdown for Ash Odom in this game. And 3 receptions for 11 yards.
He's certainly making a strong case for player of the game. 2nd and long from the 46. Another handoff to Odom, trying to remain patient there, but he'll get gang tackled just past the line of scrimmage once again by DJ Majesty, and it'll be a 3rd and 9.
I think if you're looking at a player of the game for Queen City, I think it's going to go, would have to go to Stephen Hacker, who right now is at 116 yards and a touchdown. on 9 out of 10 targets, so 90% catching the ball when it's thrown to him.
And Caswell's going to throw the ball here, and another catch over the middle of the field. Found the soft bubble there in the zone, and Queen City will move the sticks once again.
Doing good, moving the football, taking time off the clock, which is really going to be a killer for Carolina as they continue into the fourth quarter here.
Elgin Villanueva with his first catch of the ball game. Into enemy territory they go from the 43-yard line of Carolina, 1st and 10. QB sneak for Caswell, and there's some positive yardage there. Earlier in the ball game, that didn't look quite like that, Marcus.
Viddix has still got the trophy for running quarterback so far in this game when he picked up 14 yards earlier. I definitely didn't see that coming.
Good chunk of 4 by the quarterback sneak, 2nd and 6. Handoff again to Odom, and Odom's in trouble right at the line again. It'll be 3rd and 5 coming up. Carolina sniffing out the runs a little bit easier here in the second half.
Doing better on the run defense. Queen City is just barely, I believe, outside of field goal range. I'm not entirely sure what the range of their kicker is going to be, but I feel like to be safe they would need probably about 5 more yards.
Eric Vincent alongside Marcus Dunhill, Dan Mitchell on stats tonight. Handoff to Ash Odom, who gets stood up again. And DJ Majesty, he has just been non-stop on this drive. Brings up 4th down for Queen City and a field goal attempt, I believe.
54 yards if they attempt a field goal from here.
Instead, they're going to bring out the punt team.
Thought that might be a little too far for their kicker.
Especially in this weather. Block coming. Carolina not able to get there. Matthews trying to pin them deep. Fielded at about the 12-yard line, but he's going backwards. And they'll mark him down at the 9. A bit of a incorrect decision there by the return man.
Probably thought he could get away from it and run for a few yards. He might have had some space over to the left, and fortunately he went to the right where the defenders were. But I think he should have probably just called for a fair catch.
It's a long way to go here for Carolina to strike pay dirt once again. 6:37 left to go in the ballgame. Biddix to throw. He'll throw to the near sideline. He's got a catch. And out to the 14-yard line. That's L.B. Allen III. I believe that's his first catch of the ball game. And he'll bring it out to the 14.
That clock keeps ticking away on Carolina. They need to, if they score, they're still in this. They need to make a stop, but they're slowly running out of time.
2nd and 5, 4 wideouts, empty backfield. Biddix under center. Biddix will throw to the far sideline this time, able to get the foot in bounds. So it'll be 3rd and short coming up. Prasad with another catch.
You were correct earlier that L.B. Allen that was his first reception of the game on 2 attempts. Prasad, though, is 7 for 9 on catches. 58 yards and a touchdown.
There's a beauty, that touchdown pass as well from Biddix to Prasad. The only points on the board for Carolina. Turnaround handoff for Randy Mercury, and it looked like he had some footing going there. Got stopped by Avery King. It'll be 4th and 1. Carolina's going to have to punt again.
There's a fair bit of time left on the clock, but you're starting to get to the point where you're going to have to start entertaining going for it on 4th down.
Maybe if their field position was a little bit better, I'd say they can go for it here, but just not the point. High snap, and Queen City almost able to get there. Carolina, what a hit there by the special teamer. Grayson Klein able to throw a shoulder into J.K. Johnson III and knocking him right down at the 38.
We saw a lot of running on the last drive by Queen City and some good run defense by Carolina. It'll be interesting to see whether they continue to try to run that clock with Odom or if they try to get some passes here and catch Carolina off guard thinking they're going to run it.
Ash Odom going to get a carry on 1st down. Able to dodge the first tackler out to the 43-yard line, gain of 5. And when your running back is averaging almost 5 yards a carry, that's winning football right there, Marcus.
21 for 26 for A.J. Caswell. He's definitely been the more efficient quarterback so far in this game.
Caswell to throw this time, and he's got Odom coming out of the backfield, but he'll get stood up right at the line. This Carolina defense is standing tall as they force a 3rd down and 5.
So now it's interesting to see what they do on 3rd down. They need 5 yards. They're probably going to need to go and pass it here. They can run it to try to just take some time off the clock, or they can go for that 1st down.
Offset I formation, clock continuing to roll, 4:15 and counting to go in the ball game. Carolina anticipating the run, 5 on the play clock. Caswell finally snaps the ball. He's got blockers out in front of him, does Ash Odom, and he's got the 1st down out to the 47-yard line of Carolina, and that was a killer right there.
It absolutely was a killer, because not only are they getting closer to that field goal range, they now get another set of downs to take at least another 2 minutes or so off the clock.
Good block there by Diamante on Pruitt, who had a couple great plays earlier in the ball game.
See what kind of stop Carolina can make now. It's definitely now on the Carolina defense to try to get the ball back and give the offense an opportunity to win the game.
Certainly running out of opportunities here as the clock ticks down to 3.5 minutes. Caswell letting the play clock tick all the way down to 2 before snapping the football, and Ash Odom is just having himself a day today. 143 yards and a touchdown on the ground.
You tackle those running backs any way you can, but I think the Carolina defenders pushed him over the 1st down marker. One of them was kind of holding him, and then I think the one came from behind and hit him forward.
Just been a clinic today by this Queen City offense. Just great balance both through the air and on the ground, and Ash Odom has just been insane on the ground today. Caswell's coming to the line, offset I formation. Again, letting that play clock tick all the way down. Ash Odom stood up after a gain of 3 on the play, and that is where he'll be stopped. The SFL is brought to you in part by Quip, perfect oral care delivered. Richards Printworks, the official shop of the SFL. ScoreStream, official score updates app of the SFL. And SpyGoat, the sound choice.
At 13 points down, you're 2 scores away. If Queen City is able to get a field goal here, then it's going to make it a 16-point game and much more difficult to come back into.
We'll see one more play here, I believe, before the 2-minute warning. We will. And it's a handoff there to Ash Odom. We do have some MeUndies laundry on the field, so we'll have to see what that's all about. Might be getting a face mask here. And they call a holding, which will back the Corsairs up as we hit the quick 2-minute warning. Your score here in Buffalo, 20-7 in favor of the Corsairs. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music, broadcast live on YouTube.
That penalty is going to be a good help to Carolina. It pushes them back and now puts them on the edge of field goal range again. Gives them an opportunity to keep them on the field goal.
Handoff to Ash Odom, who gets hit in the backfield, not able to squeak past the next defender, and Carolina will burn their first time out. Quip Design delivers simple ways to keep your mouth healthy with time vibrations. Brush head refills for $5, refilled every 3 months. Covered for life with free shipping for life. Use the link posted in the chat, and your purchase will help support the SFL through a partnership. Quip, a more wholesome clean. 3rd and forever for the Queen City Corsairs. up by 13 with the game winding down. Ash Odom still churning those legs and making it out to the 37-yard line. Carolina will burn their second timeout.
This is back to where Queen City punted last time with the 54-yard field goal, so they're probably not going to go for that field goal. I mean, they didn't do it before. I don't know why they would do it now.
Wouldn't make a ton of sense for them to go for it now. And Ricky Matthews coming out, and he will punt it. So Carolina with a little bit of time, one timeout left. Once they get the football back, I'd say they probably have about a minute 30 or so left to go. Once they get the ball. Ball bounces at about the 10-yard line, and Queen City is there to down it. It's going to be downed at the 5-yard line, minute 41. And Carolina is going to have a ton of yardage to make up here to get into the end zone.
That's not where you want to start when you're down by a couple scores here. But great job by Carolina on the last drive. That holding penalty definitely helped them and gave them the opportunity to make sure that they kept Queen City out of field goal range. So now they need to capitalize on offense.
Biddix to throw. He'll throw a wobbler towards the far sideline. Caught and knocked out of bounds at the 11. 2nd and 3 coming up. Prasad with the catch.
Anything you can do to get your offense out of that end zone to make sure you don't get safetied. They're a lot safer now at the 11-yard line, and which is good. You know, where they were at, if he had gotten tackled, it probably could have been a safety. So they just need to make sure they keep moving and don't back too far towards the end zone.
Biddix to throw again. He's going to check it out to Mercury, who's creeping out of the backfield. Only get a couple as he stays in bounds. Carolina's going to have to go no huddle here. Biddix will do a little play action there, and he's going to throw deep. He's got a man, and that's all the way out to the 48-yard line. They'll burn their final timeout as they get into Queen City territory. That was a huge chunk play by Prasad.
It was definitely what they needed. They had a great opportunity. I wondered if he was going to be able to go, but I think he had to slow down a little bit to catch the football, which gave Queen City enough time to catch up to him and tackle him, which is good because they definitely don't want to give up a big touchdown play with some time left on the clock. That'll give some motivation and ability for an onside kick for Carolina. If Queen City is lucky, Carolina will take some time off the clock along the way.
So minute 14, Carolina, no more timeouts here. They're going to throw deep towards the near sideline this time. That's caught out to the 25-yard line. Going no huddle here. Carolina trying to keep themselves in the ball game. Biddix is going to throw a 7-step drop. Pocket collapsing. He'll throw it to the far sideline, and that is incomplete. Could not get the foot in bounds.
I'm not sure if they're going to be able to review that at all. They don't have any timeouts to challenge, but some good passing lanes are opening up here for Carolina. They're moving the ball pretty good down the field, and for Carolina fans, you start to wonder where that was for the beginning of the game. Wish their offense played like that throughout the whole game.
Offset I formation this time. 2 wide receivers towards the top of the screen. Swing pass to Randy Mercury, who can't get out of the backfield. It's going to be a 3rd and 10. Not a great call there on 2nd down with the clock your enemy here. Biddix is going to throw far sideline. Got the toes in bounds. It's going to be 4th down coming up here with 39 seconds left to go.
Not only do you have to score here, you have to get that onside kick. So it's definitely not great odds so far in Carolina, and they went too many of those routes to the outside trying to save the clock, and now they're in a 4th down position where if they don't get this ball, it's game over.
It's certainly a daunting task here. First part of it is at least get the 1st down on 4th and 7. Crowd on their feet in Buffalo. Biddix is going to throw towards the near sideline, tipped and incomplete. It was an out route that was run short of the 1st down marker, and L.B. Allen III couldn't come up with it, and that'll pretty much be the ball game there.
You know, it's tough. There's too many people around him. There was a defender in front of the ball and behind the ball. Even if he had caught it, there's no guarantee that he could have even turned around and get to the line of scrimmage. So it was a great opportunity by Queen City and Farrell Reigns to knock that ball to make sure that Carolina didn't get it, which is going to put the ball back in Queen City. And I believe all they'll have to do here is take a knee and the game will be over.
Queen City in victory formation. Both these teams playing away games in Week 5 of the SFL season. Queen City traveling to Atlanta to take on the Swarm in the Hive. And Carolina going to have to travel south of the border to Mexico City, to Estadio Azteca, as they take on the Mexico City Aztecs. Queen City moving to 3-1. Carolina will fall to 1-3 on the season. Still plenty of time, though, here, Marcus, as we hit this young season 12 here of SFL football.
You can win a lot of games, and even with 3 or 4 losses, still easily make the playoffs. You know, you just got to start making sure that you play into the game the best you can. As you saw the stats for the first half, there was only, I think 66 yards of total offense for Carolina, and that's just not going to be enough to get you into these games. And they played much better in the second half. But you can't for the slack in the first half. I think it would have been a more competitive end of the game.
And as we let the 2K Sports postgame show roll here, 20-7 your final score in favor of the Corsairs. Any final thoughts before we let the people go, Marcus?
I'm interested to see here who's going to be the player of the game. It's definitely going to be somebody on the Queen City team. Could be Ash Odom for 143 yards and a touchdown. But my money's still going to be on Stephen Hacker at 116 yards and a touchdown. It was a great game by pretty much everybody involved on the Queen City team. I think Carolina just needs to work on the timing of their wide receivers and try to get that running game moving a little bit further as they continue through the season.
And it will be Ash Odom as the 2K Sports player of the game. 31 attempts, 151 yards on the ground, and a touchdown as he wins the player of the game and the ball game itself for Queen City. On behalf of Marcus Dunhill and Dan Mitchell in Stats Tonight, my name is Eric Vinson, and we want to thank you for coming out and taking a look at this presentation of the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music, which we've been broadcasting live on YouTube. Be sure to stay tuned for Week 5 coming up next week, and we'll see you then. Take care and good night.